Alright guys, so in light of this video here, I decided that I wanted to take a look at how we can do a Vue.js project, like create a project without using the CLI. And yeah, I just wanted to take a look at that. You may have already noticed that the mic is actually better now because I actually got a new mic. So I just want to shout out Nanotron for actually supplying this. I'll leave a link in the description for how you can get to or reach their shop or store or whatever. Now, what I want to do, let me just clear this off because that's just for the intro. I will be referencing where am I going? This should be GitHub, edu Fedorae, and I'll pretty much be referencing this Vue 3 app here because I think Vue 3 is at a level now where we can definitely create projects and not necessarily worry too much about it. Even though these are not necessarily production based, but I think it's time for me to like immerse myself more into the Vue 3 side of things now, and this needs to be fixed. I'm assuming that it's just a update, and probably it just falls back onto the same video that I had made earlier, talking about the dependencies. Probably that's just the update that this is talking about a security vulnerability there. All right, so again, this is what I'll be referencing. So I already have my terminal open, and for some reason I don't know. I think I have a projects, YouTube projects, and I don't know what I have in here. Nothing at all. Tests. All right, so let's make a directory here, um, called Vue. I don't know. I'm gonna call it Vue. I'm gonna cd into it, and then we're gonna create a another directory called Vue 3 app no CLI. That's what we're gonna call it because we don't have the CLI. I don't have the CLI installed. If I should type Vue in here, you can see that it says no command. And let me just put this right here and make it a little bit bigger so that you guys can, or ensure that you guys can see. Let me zoom in a bit. All right, so that should be better. And here we're gonna cd into this Vue 3 app, no CLI. And the first thing, I have Yarn installed, and that's what we're going to be using. So I have this Yarn here. So what we're gonna do is say Yarn init, and this is the name of our project. That's a version. You can say this is a Vue 3 application created uh, without using the, the Vue CLI. And that's our project name. I think this should be main.js. The repository, I am just gonna go ahead and say http github.com /edu /vue 3 app no CLI, and I guess the author is me, and we're gonna MIT license it. No, I think that should be set. Let me see. So we're just gonna I think I can cat this here, so I can just cat the package.json file, and here we can see that the name, the version, description, and all of that good stuff that is there. So we're all set now. The next thing that we want to do now is just to install the different dependencies that we'll be needing. So the first thing will be yarn we're gonna just do a yarn add for the actual dependencies, the main dependencies. So as you know, or if you know Vue, you know that we need core.js and we also need Vue. So these are the two things that we're going to be installed in here, and this should not take much long. All right, there we go. So we can go ahead and cat this again. We can get a package.json, and now we have dependencies and the two dependencies that we need. We also need some dev dependencies so that we can actually run the scripts that we're going to be creating later on. So let me just go ahead and do a yarn add, and we're gonna do tax save or dev, I believe. I think it's dev actually. Or save one of them. It doesn't really. Yeah, we need to research that because I don't want to give any wrong information. So the Vue CLI plugin that we need is actually the CLI service. That is what we need, and we also there's also one other thing that I see here that I think should be added, and I need to also research this. So this is the compiler. SFC. And these are just the two things that we need. So the CLI service are the main things that I think we actually need. And this compiler SFC. And meanwhile that is there, I'm gonna go and type again, I always be using here. Same Google results anyways, but uh, at Vue slash compiler. Alright, so while those are downloading, so the command is finished, but I actually just want to take a quick look at this package because I haven't really done so. And alright, so we don't necessarily need to reinstall this because as you can see here, I actually looked at it before, but I guess I just needed a refresher. So I'm actually going to remove this because we don't need it, and I don't see the point in actually having it in here if we're not going to be using it, or it's already installed. So I'm going to remove that. All right, so clear this out, and now we can cat the package.json again. And we only have here at this as our main dev dependencies. Typically, when we install this, we probably will have like ESLint or something else, some other plugin, pretty or anything like that for the formatting. But for this example, we're not going to be using any of those. Now I'm gonna just vim packet this here, and I'm gonna add the scripts that we pretty much will be using. So we're gonna go in here. I didn't add private, and I don't think this is necessary, but we could add it. Is this a private? I'm actually gonna remove this because it's not necessary. So the only thing we need here is just the scripts that we'll be using to actually run this thing here. And again, this is just a JSON file. So our JSON, so we can just go ahead and this should be say serve. So again, these are the scripts that you'll be running when you do like a yarn run or a yarn serve or a yarn build or anything like that. So these are just what I'm adding here. So we have the serve script, which is basically the command Vue CLI service, and this is our serve thing there. I'm gonna copy that and paste it so that we have that there, and this will be our build when we need to actually build this thing for deployment. And there we go. We need to put a comma here. It's a JSON file, and we need to put a comma here. That is why it's giving us that little bit of an error message there that we're seeing. So this is pretty much it for the package.json. For now, this is our basic Vue JS package.json file. So now I can just go ahead and write this. Write that. So now if I cat this again, even though we're just coming out of it, you can see that we have the different scripts that we need, and that is it. Now, what we want to do now is just ls here, and you can see that we have our node modules, our package.json, and our yarn.lock file. So basically now what we need to do is just to add our project structure, a better project structure. So two things that we need two folders, and this is our source folder, and we also need our public folder here, our directory. And the first one, I'm going to cd into the source, and then we're going to make our main.js file, and that should have been vim main.js and not just main.js. And in here, this is a Vue 3 app, as I had mentioned before. So we're going to be using the Vue 3 format, and we're going to import create app, and this is going to be coming from Vue. And we also need to import app, and this is going to be coming from the app.vue file, and this is what we're going to be creating a little bit later on, and I forgot to add those. So now we can just use the create app here, and then we just mount this, and we also want to just call that app and this is where this app ID here is the one that's going to be in the index.js file in the public directory. So that is pretty much it for the main.js file. You can save that. Okay, also cat it so you can see what is in there. So we have there. All right, so since we're in this directory, what we can do is pretty much just go ahead and I'm gonna touch the app.vue file, so we're gonna create it in here, but I'm not going to go into it just yet. So what we're gonna do now is basically to cd back out. We're in the main directory. We're gonna cd into public, and then we can just vim the index .html file in here. And we could keep this pretty simple, but I'm actually just gonna go ahead and just do the whole structure, because that just makes a lot more sense. So doc type, and we have HTML, which usually is in common letters, and now we have our HTML tag, and I want to end this off. First things first, then we're gonna create the head structure, and the body structure as well, and this is my basic structure, I would say. And from here, the main thing that we need in here is pretty much this div here, this div with the ID of app. And this is pretty much the main thing that we need in this file here. I think pretty much anything else that everything else could be ignore from here, because this is pretty much all that we need as a basic structure. One thing that I probably would like to add is the title. So we could pretty much just add a title in here, and just say Vue 3 app without no CLI. I don't know. This is the best I can do. If you guys get a better title for this, just go ahead and let me know. One other thing I think is very important, because this is a JavaScript application, so I would like to say, well, we need to check if there is no script. or if there's restriction in here, and just add a strong tag, and application needs JavaScript, and I should capitalize that to work. So this is basically it. Again, this is the most important thing in here, because here we can leave the comment like what's typically there to say that this is where the build files are injected. So auto injected, I guess. So this is it. So we just added a title, but this is the main thing. Just so I have the div here, so I can pretty much just go ahead and save this, and we're out, and we can cat the index.html file, and you can see that that is what is in there now. So the next thing that we want to do here now is just a cd back out the upper directory, go into source. So we're now in source. So now we can vim the app.view, and in here I am just going to go ahead and add insert. So we can just go ahead and add a template file in here, or template tag, actually, not file. And then, given that this is a Vue app, we can create the Vue 3 app. Then we can pretty much do a div and say something like Vue 3 app or application in this here, and we should be able to say div created without using the Vue CLI, and this is our Vue app. We don't need the scripts or anything else, so I can, or the styles. I can actually save this here. Let's clear that out, so we can go back in here and we can look at our structure that we have: the node, the package, the package.json, the public, the source, and the yarn lock. So we can go ahead and basically list the elements that is in the public folder, and you can see that it's just the index. And again, you can add anything else that you want in here. And for the main.js, for the source, we have the main.js, and here we won't necessarily have the views because we have to install a router or the store, so that is something that we'll do after. And I have a video on that as well, so you can go ahead and check that out. So now we can go ahead and do a yarn serve. And just like that, you can see that we have our application running on localhost 8080, and we also have this network domain, which is weird. That's an internal. Let's just go to localhost here, 8080, and there we go. I made a mistake, but you can see Vue 3 app created without using the CLI, and that is pretty awesome. So you can, I mean, this video probably is a little bit lengthy already, but it doesn't have to be. It's like, it's pretty simple for us to create a Vue.js app without, because as you can see, all you need is a package.json file that has the dependencies and the script to run it, and then we just configure the application in such an easy way of just the way that Vue makes it. I'm gonna go ahead and just fix the public what's it called, index.js file, and this is where it is. So that was it. So that N1 here, and then we're gonna do a yarn serve so that you guys see that it wasn't a major mistake or anything like that. So if I now refresh this here, you can see Vue 3 application created without using the CLI, and these are two separate divs. I also want to show that you guys can actually build this thing out, so it's not only limited to serving it, but as you can see, as if you remember, I actually added the build command. So let me just close this out, Control C, and what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna vim the app.view and just add some more text in here. Pretty much what I'm gonna do is just add some shameless branding. So our div here, and put in h1 in here, and this h1 is pretty much just gonna say Fedorae education, and I want to also add a break tag so that we have a break in there. So close that out, and we can clear this, and then we can do a yarn serve. And here we go. So if I should refresh this now, you can see that it has been updated. So now we can close this out, and we can also do a yarn build. And there we go. We already have a production build. It's pretty small, so you can see how quickly that actually occurred. So now we also have this folder, and we can cd into this folder, and we can see everything that is in there, our index, our JS file. So yeah, this is a pretty much full-fledged Vue.js application. Only thing that's missing would probably be the router and stuff like that, which you can always add later. That is pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I'll probably be creating a blog post about this, and also I'll just leave the link to that, and that should be on the Fedorae Education website. So I'll leave a link to that in the description. I should also be uploading this to GitHub, so I'll leave the link to that as well, so you guys can actually go ahead and look at that and reference it. And yeah, that is it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.